You are causing havoc during the video. Go, don't nip her, Clea. Just go get out of my way. You get over here. This is chaos. Say chaos. Look at your, do you have allergies already? I guess that will work for the topic of today's video. So welcome back, everyone. So today's video was requested by Josh over at Roughing It Outdoors. You can check out his channel, I'll link it down in the description. He does some camping stuff with his puppers. But he asked for me to go over allergies with cattle dogs. So we're going to talk about some things. If I quit getting distracted by the freaking cat, leave it alone. So anyway, allergies. So before I get into all this is all based off of my experience, whether it's work experience, life experience, whatever. And it's also partially probably my opinion. So cattle dogs in general are not really prone to too many allergies and skin conditions. I know there's websites out there that say they're highly prone to allergies and things like that. I personally don't believe that. They're such a hardy dog and healthy dog, and plus they have such a wonderfully dense double layered coat that it usually protects them from a lot of the elements. That being said, all dogs are going to be susceptible to, you know, mange, hot spots, skin infections, skin irritations, things like that. Now with cattle dogs specifically, when I say I don't feel like they're prone to allergies, I feel like it's not common, or if it does happen, it goes away quickly. You know, one of the biggest things that can cause allergies is environment. If you're taking your dog out camping, or if you're taking them hiking, or even at home, there's tons of things that can agitate any dog breed. You know, there could be certain types of mold in your house. It could be cleaning products you're using. There could be just, you know, dust mites, dust things, you know. There's tons of different things that can affect your dog. That's why I always recommend, if you are camping with your dog or hiking or anything, you know, definitely do a good brushing afterwards. Try to get some of that stuff off of them, even a bath afterwards, just to get all that pollen and stuff off. Because when you're out in the woods, you know, there's tons of bacteria and mold and spores and, you know, pollen, and trying to pinpoint exactly what could be causing a dog's skin irritation is kind of like a needle in a haystack. The best thing you can do is just make sure the dog is as clean as possible after outings and things like that. I've never had much issues with skin conditions with any of my healers, except for Gypsy, which I'll get more specific about her in a minute. But when I brought Sully home, like even changing environment, like, he came from Virginia, or was it West Virginia? I can't remember. One of the Virginias. You know, so when we brought him home, he actually suffered a little bit, some allergies. He had some goopy eyes happening, some itchy skin, because it's different pollen and things here in Ohio versus there. And even my girls, when I brought them home, actually went through about a week of that, where their eyes were gooping and stuff, you know, when they're trying to readjust to their, you know, new environment. And they came from Ohio, so they were only like, I think, 3 hours away from us. But Gypsy definitely has some allergy issue or something going on with her, and she's had it since she was little. She's a very yeasty girl. She gets the thing where, you know, the smell of the Frito feet. So there's definitely bacteria that grows in her paw pads, and I forgot to bring it in here with me, but there's a new medicated shampoo that I'm going to try to see if that helps her. And I personally feel like it's something in our yard that is causing it, because she likes to run through the piles of construction stuff we still have to clear out. And it seems like when she does that, she gets that buildup of yeast in her paw pads, and then it causes the excess licking and turns into brown spots and weird odors and things like that. And she's always had a really weird oil patch just on one spot of her back, but she's had it since she was a puppy. I have tried changing diet and things like that with her, and it hasn't helped. So I still think it's something environmental when it comes to her. But that's like the only real issues I've ever had with my cattle dogs. I've never had any issues with hot spots, except again with Gypsy, because, you know, her yeasty feet, she licked too much and caused a hot spot. To me, it's very uncommon. Even when I used to groom other people's cattle dogs who came from the country, like I would groom farm dog cattle dogs that would come here, and they never had any skin or coat issues like that. Another thing when it comes to environment stuff is fleas. Most people don't think of it as an allergy, but fleas can actually cause a very bad allergic reaction in your dogs, any dogs. Again, I've never had it happen with my cattle dogs, but I had it happen with our Kage, or Kai kitten that we used to have. And all it takes is one flea bite to cause it. It's called FAD, flea allergy dermatitis, I think is the full thing. But there's a protein in the flea saliva, so when they bite the dog, it can give the dog an allergic reaction. And our Kage, one flea bite, and he would go into this crazy itching fit, and just overnight he would rip open his entire backside and be bleeding, and then it would cause an infection. And we'd always have to go to the vet and get him an antibiotic shot and keep it clean for a couple of days. And fleas in general will cause dogs to have like itchy skin. I mean, obviously they're getting bit by fleas, and a lot of people I know when I used to groom would say like, oh, my dogs don't have fleas, I don't know why they're itching. And as soon as I would start grooming, I would see the fleas. I mean, you could see like flea dander, they're little black specks. Definitely get a flea comb. If you can't see fleas, doesn't mean that they're not there, and it doesn't mean that one didn't come by and bite your dog. But I know a lot of people don't seem to know about allergic reactions like that with fleas, but it is a thing. So that's why it's always good to keep your dogs groomed and on some sort of flea preventative. But not just fleas, there's mites out there, there's there's all kinds of wonderful things that can attack the puppers. If it's too hot and humid, or if it's too dry, or too cold, just all sorts of things can change skin conditions in dogs. Which that leads me to another thing that will cause allergy issues in your dog is food. Oh my god, the bird screaming and the cat outside the door, just like, oh, it's amazing I can do a video at all in this household. So I have never had any issues with food allergies in any of my cow dogs. They have been able to eat everything perfectly fine. With one tiny exception, there was a certain brand of honey I bought, and Clea had the sniffles afterwards. So that lets me know that we will not be doing that anymore with her. So, food allergies in dogs can cause, vomiting, diarrhea, eye issues, sneezing, coughing, all the normal kind of allergy things you'd expect in a dog. That's why I always suggest to people, if you are going to try new foods with your dog, you should do like a small little sample, see how they react, like give it an hour. I keep hearing my bird screaming and it's driving me insane. Now, one thing I can say since doing this channel, I have seen a lot of people say how their dog is allergic to certain foods. Like there's a ton of dogs allergic to grains, there's a ton of dogs allergic to other things. Like, I can't believe how many dogs I'm seeing lately that are allergic to chicken, like poultry. But I personally feel there's more environmental factors that will cause allergies with this breed in particular than there are with food. But that's just my personal experience and opinion on that. Now, when it comes to finding out if your dog is allergic to something, I do know that there are tests out there that you can get done through your veterinarian that will kind of pinpoint some things, not necessarily food though. With all the crazy we went through recently with Sully, I did ask 2 of those vets about allergy testing him, because that was one of the things we thought was possibly, some sort of allergen, or it was a food allergy. But even they said that specifically when it comes to food allergies, you're not going to get any kind of accurate results on those tests. That could be wrong. That's just what my vets told me during our little thing. And I do know they have at-home allergy tests for your dogs now too. I have no idea if those work, or if how accurate they are, or anything like that. I don't think it's a bad idea to allergy test if that's what you feel to do as a pet parent, because obviously if your dog is having issues you can't figure out. I mean, I was about to go down that road with Sully at the time, because we had no idea what it was. Well, I knew what it was. Dr. Healer Mama knew, but allergy testing isn't a bad thing, especially if you're trying to rule things out. Now, if it's a food allergy specifically, even they told me I would have to go through trial and error with foods. Like, I would have to stick with one protein for about a week or 2, but usually you kind of know if the protein is what's causing it, because they will have a bad reaction within like an hour or so to that food. If you're trying to figure out food allergies, journal exactly what you're feeding your dog and things like that, so you can try to pinpoint exactly what could be causing it. And some things that can help out with dealing with allergies with your dog, or at least this is what I do. If I do notice my dogs are having like dry-ish kind of skin starting or anything, I will add more fish to their diet. You can also actually give them fish oil per day. You can just like the ones we take, but you can pop them open and sprinkle that on their food. There's tons of omega-3 supplements and fish options now for dogs. You just kind of have to find what works for you, and make sure you're not like overloading them with fish oil. Like, you don't want to put like 20 pills of fish oil in their food, but you know what I mean. There's plenty of supplements out there that can kind of help with that. Anything with omega-3s, I think is, at least I've seen a difference with helping my dogs when they have, because when it gets really dry here in the winter time, like their paw pads start cracking, and I do feel like their coats are a little bit drier, so we switched to a more fish protein diet for them. Another thing I use a lot and have on hand for my dogs is Benadryl, especially for Gypsy. Not actually regarding her yeasty feet, but when the seasons change, that is when my poor girl will start actually losing hair around her eyes, and she starts getting sneezy, coughy things, and mommy's doing it right along with her. So me and her are definitely on the Benadryl. Now she's able to take one whole pill. Definitely check with your vet on the amount on that, because I don't want to get in trouble. You know, Dr. Healer Mom is not a real thing. Like, I'm not a certified doctor here. And another thing you can also do to help with maybe trying to figure things out, whether it's a food allergy or environment allergy, is to have a limited ingredient diet. So you're basically feeding your dog, and there's tons of resources online for that. I've never actually done any type of diet like that for my dogs. From what I've read up on it, it seems to be like a 5 or 6 type of ingredient only thing. Like, that's all they ever eat. So you could do things like that to see if it's a food allergy. And probably the last thing I can think of right now off the top of my head on what to do when it comes to allergies for your dog is just time and patience. So especially if you're bringing in a new dog into a new environment, their body needs time to adjust. It's kind of like when I go down south, like my body adjusts better down south. I can actually breathe better down there with all the mountain air and everything. But okay, so maybe if I go up north, I don't know, when I change, you know, regions, my nose goes through a thing too. So sometimes that could just be what it is with your dog. If it's itchy skin particularly, I would almost bet money on that it's just, you know, however, you know, dry or humid the area is, and probably, you know, just getting used to all the new pollen and everything around them. I would almost bet money on that, but I've never been good at gambling, so. Oh, one more thing. Yeah, so regarding the food stuff, gotta love it when your light bulb goes off, you know, when you think you're done. So also, if you're feeding too much stuff with starches and sugar, that can actually cause drier skin and the dog's coat to feel a little bit more brittle if they're having too much of those things in their diet. Oh, and just weird genetics in general. Like, I'm just coming up with more ideas now on what could be causing allergy type things with dogs. Again, with Gypsy, I think hers is some sort of genetic thing that causes whatever in the yard to make the yeast and turn into this yeasty smelling little woo-woo that we have. But yeah, Benadryl and fish stuff, that's my main thing I do in this house, and I will let you guys know if the medicated shampoo helps with her issues. But I hope that answers the question a little bit about allergies in cattle dogs, and it was a little bit helpful. I know I probably have left out some other stuff, but this was just random stuff off the top of my head. It's definitely a trial and error, almost detective kind of game sometimes when it comes to figuring out what's causing certain things in our dogs. But that is going to be it for today's video. Remember to click like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell icon too, so you know when I upload next. And remember to leave comments. Definitely leave comments on this video, because I know I'm probably forgetting stuff. So definitely share your experiences too. It always helps out other healer parents, and it supposedly helps out the algorithm of the YouTubes. At least that's what YouTube keeps telling me. I'm not sure that's true though. Anyway, take care everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. That could maybe cause allergies too. Little floof ball. You got the cutest little purr.